So you can please take your sitting posture, a comfortable sitting posture with crossed legs and hands gently kept on your lap in a relaxed way, and eyes closed. And bring all your attention from outside and focus it inside towards you. Just silent the body, silent the mind, and prepare yourself for this meditative listening. Relax your whole body. Relax it completely. Now, watch a few of your breaths. Observe your breathing, the in breath and the out breath. And now, shift your focus to the heart space or the space behind the eyeballs, whichever you feel intuitively guided and want to do and want to you feel comfortable with. Just focus on this spaciousness behind the eyeballs. Look behind the eyeballs, you will find a dark space there. Focus either behind your eyeballs or your heart center. Both these are the connections of space, the Akash Tattva. So join your attention with this Akash Tattva. And you can just passively listen to this topic of today, which is about the laws of the creation. So, the laws of creation, by creation, I mean everything that exists. Me, you, all the people, or the living beings, or all the inanimate things, the rocks, the minerals, all the earth itself, all other planets, the universes, the galaxies, everything. This is what is creation. Creation means Srishti. Srishti is the right word in Sanskrit, which we translated English as creation. So Srishti means everything which exists. So this Srishti is run by certain laws. It may seem that all this creation is just running randomly, random events, some unconnected happenings happening in this world. It may seem all are not connected, just random things, but we cannot see that beneath all that there is a very orderly, a very lawful system which governs everything in this creation, in this Srishti. The Srishti is governed by very precise and unbreakable laws. It is a very perfect system of laws on which this Srishti runs. And it is worthwhile for every person to have knowledge of this law, of these laws. So why? Why should I know these laws? What is the importance of knowing these laws? So for understanding this, we can understand this with an example. Like, for example, you go to a very new country where you do not know which are the laws of that country. You have never been there. So what will happen there? You will be lost. You will not know what to do, what I have to do here, what I don't have to do, what is happening here, what is right, what is wrong, what I should refrain from. So you will be in a very confused state, whether I should do this, whether I shouldn't do this. So without knowing the laws, this will be how you will be lost totally. And suppose someone just gives a penalty, you're imposed with a penalty, then you will not know what did I do, which law did I break. So just similar is the universal laws, the laws of the creation, because without the laws, you just live in a confused state in this creation. You will not know exactly what has to be done, what I am supposed to do, what I am not supposed to do, why all this is happening. And if something adverse happens, you will not know what law you broke, why this has happened. So you will just feel very helpless. You will feel like a victim. Why this happened to me? So when you do not know the laws, then this is how our state becomes in this creation, in this life when we are born, without knowledge of these laws. So it is so imperative that everyone should know these laws. Now, another question comes that who made these laws? Who created them and why were they created? So, actually, it is surprising that there is no one who made these laws. There is no entity, there is no person who made these laws, because these are just natural laws. They are they are the nature of this creation. They have been since the creation came into existence. There is no origin, because there is no origin of the creation. So these laws have been since eternity. Just like, for example, there is a law of physics, the law of gravity, which is a physical law which belongs to this physical earth. So can we say that can we ask who created this law of gravity? So the answer would be there's no one. It is a natural law. And this law came into existence when the earth came into existence. So no one created this law. It is a natural law, and it is a natural character or attribute of this planet Earth, gravity. So similarly, the creation, the laws of the creation are also very natural. They exist. They began when the creation began. And because the creation is eternal, so the laws are also eternal. And there is no time where these laws were created or they will end. So creation is eternal, which we call as Anant. This all creation, this Srishti is Anant. So the laws are also Anant. And there's no person, no external agency who created these laws. These laws are the natural attribute of the creation itself. because it is just like we can understand that this creation is a game, which we call as a play. A play means in Sanskrit we call as Leela. This creation is Leela, it's a game. And every game has some rules, some laws. So, so is this Leela. This Leela runs on laws because suppose there is a game of cricket, and if there are no rules, there are no laws in the game, we will not call it cricket. Cricket will not exist. It will be some crazy, some confused, just hitting the bat ball with the bat. It will be something like this. We cannot call it a game of cricket. So similar is the laws of creation. Because of the law, we can call it creation. And if there were no laws, it will be just chaos. The creation will be chaos. So this is why there are laws. And why there are laws? Again, there is no reason for the laws. It is because of necessity. It is because of necessity, because the game exists. So the law exists. Because cricket is there, that is why the rules came. So because this Leela came into existence, so the laws came to govern all this play. So another question can come to the mind that how did people come to know about these laws? Who came to know? Who told about these laws? So many of these laws we can just experience around us when we try to observe things deeply, when we try to find out, then we will observe these patterns, these laws of this creation of this universe. Because generally we don't pay attention, we are not mindful, so we just miss, we think that all these events of life and everything is just happening randomly in some random manner. But no, there is a law that governs that. And because we do not know, we think that these are just random things. So when we try to see, we can find that these laws are very obvious when we try to study them and we study the observations around them. And we will do these observations as in the subsequent sessions where we'll discover that yes, there is a law beneath it and there is a pattern which is so predictable, which is repeatable always. And also that these laws, they have been discovered and studied by our great gurus, the great ancient teachers, the spiritual scientists. They have discovered them, they have observed the creation, and they have found out, and they have transmitted this knowledge for us. So we all should also think deeply and try to observe, so that we can also establish that yes, this is true, yes, this is the law, that yes, I can observe, I can experience that there is a law here. So we should all try to do this and not just believe. We should try to establish the truth through our own observations. So this is what is recommended. So I will just briefly enumerate all these laws. And there are around 12 universal laws or the laws of creation. And we will discuss each one in much detail, because each of this law has it. It would be great to know this in detail, so that we can get an understanding of how it works, how this creation works, what is my role in this creation. So we can study one by one every day in the subsequent this thing. And these laws are all constant, they're eternal, they're unbreakable, they are the rule. So the first law, I'll enumerate them in sequence, but there is no sequence actually. It is not, they are not in order like some order of importance or something. It's no, it's just random. So the first law is law of impermanence. And this law of the creation is that everything in this creation is impermanent. All the experiences are impermanent. Like everything, things arise, they stay for a while, and then they disappear. So this is in very brief about the law of impermanence. Then the second law is law of polarity. So according to this law, all the experiences in this creation, they exist in pairs of opposite. Everything has an opposite in this creation. There is nothing in this creation which doesn't have an opposite. You can contemplate and see for yourself. You can look at things, you can think about it, that everything will have an opposite pair, like light, dark, happiness, sadness, pleasure, pain, good, bad, day, night, birth, death, and infinite, innumerable. You can pick up things and you can see that everything here has a pair, an opposite pair, which is the law of polarity. There are always two poles of everything in this creation. The third law is the law of balance. And in this, we will find that the tendency of the creation is always to maintain balance. This is the natural tendency. Whenever something is out of balance, it will always happen that the balance is maintained. This is what happens in the creation. This is a law. The creation always tries to bring back balance. And these are just statements of the laws, and we'll discuss and we'll observe all the examples around us, through which we can see how these laws manifest in the creation. So I'm just briefly just enumerating and just introducing all these laws one by one. And you can keep thinking and contemplating also. Then the next law is the law of relativity. It is not the like the Einstein's law. It is the, so this is a law of creation in which there is nothing in this creation which is absolute. Like everything is in relation to something else. That means nothing exists in isolation in this creation. This law is also similar to the law of polarity. Like, for example, when I say fast, it means there is something which is slow. then only we can say there is something which is fast. So anything exists in relation to something else. So this is the law of relativity. Like if I say good means there has to be something bad which has to exist, only then I can say something is good, because good cannot exist absolutely. I cannot say something good unless there is something relative to it. So this is the law of relativity. Then there is a law of attractor. This is not the law of attraction which we very commonly hear, which is a very trending thing, the law of attraction. This is the law of attractor. And this law, we'll understand it in detail later on, but it is something like that change, it happens in one particular direction. In whatever change happens, that happens in the direction of least resistance. Like for example, when we pour water on, suppose on the muddy soil, we pour water, the water creates some track. Then next time when we pour water, the water will follow the same track. So this is just example of that this the change happens in one particular direction which is of least resistance. So this is the law of attractor. Then the next law is self-similarity. So what does this mean? Self-similarity. It means that every part in this creation is a smaller part of a bigger whole. Or we can say each part is a miniature part of a more complex version of itself. Huh? This this is a concept of mathematics also. You must have heard this word fractals. Fractals, when each part looks similar to the complete part, the bigger part. Like for example, a branch, when we see a branch of a tree, it looks exactly like a tree only, a small tree. So this is what is the law of self-similarity. And this is a very interesting law. You will see this law manifesting everywhere in the creation. We'll see many examples of that. Then there is a law of perfection, the next law. The law of perfection means everything in this creation is perfect. And this is such a beautiful law. And we need not believe this. We will derive it. How everything is perfect. Because we know we always think that my life is imperfect. So many things I'm imperfect in my life, but everything is perfect, and this we can find out for ourselves. How everything is perfect and beautiful. So the next law is the law of interconnectedness. And this is a very obvious law where we can easily see that everything in this creation is connected to something else. Like, means there is nothing, no object or nothing which exists independently in this existence, in this creation. Nothing has an absolute independent existence. Like if we, even if we just pick up a simple thing, like if we see a leaf, the leaf cannot exist independently. It has to depend on something for existence. It has to depend on a tree. It has to depend on the soil, the water, the sunlight. Only then, if all these are there, then only there will be a leaf. So you pick up anything and you will find that it is dependent on something. This will be a great and very interesting mental exercise. You see anything and you will see that that thing will depend on something else to exist. So this is what is called as law of interconnectedness. Nothing exists independently in this creation. And a part of this is also the law of interdependence, where everything is dependent on something. The crux is the same. So the next law is the law of cause and effect. And this is exactly what is the law of karma. Karma means something happened because there was a cause of it. The law of cause and effect, which says that every effect has some cause. And we'll discuss this interesting law in great detail about karmic bonds, how do they form, what happens. So because everyone is so interested in these, the law of karma. Then the next law is law of perception creation. The law of perception creation. And this is a very enlightening law. And this law says that this creation exists because it is perceived. I repeat, creation exists because it is perceived. It means that nothing will exist if it is not perceived. Not perceived through the senses, not perceived through the mind. So this law will be a little tricky to understand, but for some it may just click. It may just click. And it'll be so enlightening to understand this law. And it has great implications on our lives, how we live, how we understand our life, how we spend our life. So this has so much of importance in our lives, an understanding of this law of perception creation. Then the last law is the law of evolution. And this law, the creation has a law of evolution, means the creation is continuously evolving. Evolution is a law in this universe, in this creation. It is continuously unfolding from lower to higher state. Like everything in the creation, every form, all the systems in this creation, they are continuously progressing from simpler to complex forms. So everything in this creation is evolving, right from the most basic thing to the most complex thing. Everything is in the path of evolution. This is the law. This is the law of creation. So these are, in brief, just names of all these laws. And as you think, you will discover on yourself how these laws manifest in in the life around us. You'll be able to see them. You'll be able to observe. So we'll discuss them in great detail, and it will reveal a lot of things, and it will give a lot of practical implications for us as individuals, as part of these, as small part of this big creation of this Srishti. So what is our part? What is my part in this Srishti? How does these laws of the Srishti govern me and governs everything? So we know about them. So these are about the laws of the universe, and they are called by many names like the laws of the creation, laws of the universe, laws of the mind. They are also called as laws of the mind, and we'll discuss why mind, why it is called mind. And sometimes they are also called as laws of the illusion. Illusion means Maya. This whole creation is Maya, and this creation runs on certain laws. The Maya or this Leela, it it acts on certain laws. This game is managed, is governed by laws, and these are all the laws of the illusion. So this was a brief introduction, brief overview of the laws of the illusion, the laws of the mind, the laws of creation. So it's already time to conclude. So if you want, you can just continue sitting in this meditative posture. Or if you want to come out of the meditation, then just gently become aware of your body, become aware of your surroundings. Move your fingers a bit. And you can gently open your eyes and come out of this meditation. So, are there any questions or anything? Okay, then we'll conclude this session. So, see you tomorrow again. We'll begin with one of the laws. So, namaste everyone. Good night. Love you all.